Ever dreamt of just like conquering those rugged terrains, leaving a trail of dust
Oh, yeah,
in your wake?
absolutely.
That's the Yamaha Raptor 700R in a
Yeah,
nutshell.
for sure.
So today we're doing a deep dive into this ATV.
Okay.
They've got a recent review.
Right?
We're going to figure out if it lives up to the hype and if it could be your perfect off-road companion.
Well, it's interesting because this machine has been a favorite,
Wow.
for years,
Well,
and I think there's a reason for that.
right.
So let's break down, some of the strengths, some of the weaknesses. That way
Yeah.
you'll know if it's the right fit for your riding style.
Okay, so this review kicks off by talking about a 686cc engine.
Yeah.
That's some serious power,
It
right?
is, yeah.
But how does that translate to the actual riding experience?
Well, you're going to feel an incredible surge of power the second you hit the throttle.
Okay.
And we're not just talking about flat terrain.
Right.
This beast can tackle hills,
Wow.
rough trails with ease. Plus, it can apparently hit a top speed of 75 miles per hour
Whoa, 75 miles an hour.
on an ATV.
That's insane.
Yeah.
Hold on, though. What about fuel efficiency?
Mm-hmm.
Guzzling gas isn't exactly my idea of a fun ride.
Good point. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's where the electronic fuel injection comes in.
Okay.
So it's not just about raw power.
Right.
The EFI system helps optimize fuel delivery,
Okay.
meaning you get that balance of power and efficiency.
So that EFI, it's kind of like having your cake and eating it too.
It is.
Power and efficiency, got it.
Yeah.
What about the suspension, though?
Yeah,
Because a powerful engine needs a great suspension to match, right?
absolutely. This review raves about the Raptor suspension,
Okay.
especially the long travel.
Okay.
We're talking 9.1 inches in the front
Right.
and we're popping 10.1 inches in the rear.
Okay. I got to admit, suspension numbers don't really excite me.
Yeah.
What does that actually mean for someone out on the trails?
So imagine hitting a series of bumps at high speed. With a standard suspension, you'd be getting jostled around like crazy.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
But with this much travel, the Raptor's suspension absorbs those impacts,
Okay.
giving you a smoother, more controlled ride.
Okay.
It's the difference between feeling beat up and staying comfortable and in control.
So basically, it's like having a magic carpet
Kind of, yeah.
for rough terrain.
Yeah.
Okay, that makes a lot more sense.
Yeah.
This review also talks about the Raptor being both agile and durable.
Right.
Now, those two things seem kind of at odds.
Yeah.
How can something be both nimble and tough?
Right. Well, that's the thing Yamaha really nailed with this model.
Okay.
They used a lightweight frame for agility, so you can zip through those tight trails.
Okay.
But to make sure it could handle the rough stuff,
Yeah.
they reinforced the frame
Yeah.
key components.
Okay.
And the tires are designed for serious off-road punishment, too.
So can't handle tight turns and take a beating.
Exactly.
Not bad.
Yeah.
But let's be honest. Nobody wants to be aching after a long ride.
No.
What does the review say about comfort?
Well, comfort is key, especially on longer rides. And this is where the Raptor's ergonomic design comes in.
Right.
Think strategically positioned handlebars and seating designed to minimize fatigue.
Okay.
It's about finding that sweet spot between a sporty feel and all-day comfort.
All right. So the Raptor sounds pretty impressive so far.
Yeah.
But how does it stack up against the competition? I know this review includes a comparison with other ATVs,
Okay.
like the Honda TRX 700XX, the Can-Am Renegade 700, and the Suzuki Quad Sport Z400.
That's where things get really interesting.
Okay.
Each of those machines has its own strengths, but the Raptor seems to strike a really nice balance. The Honda TRX 700XX might have slightly more power,
Okay.
but the Raptor's lighter,
Right.
and that gives it an edge in handling, especially on those twisty trails.
And what about the Can-Am and the Suzukis? Where do
Yeah.
they fit in?
Well, the Can-Am Renegade is known for having a ton of power.
Okay.
The most in its class, actually.
Wow.
But it's a bit bulky,
Okay.
which can make it less agile.
Right.
Then you've got the Suzuki Quad Sport Z400.
Hmm.
It's lighter and more affordable than the Raptor,
Yep.
but it doesn't quite have the same punch
Gotcha.
in terms of performance. So,
So it sounds like the Raptor falls somewhere in the middle.
yeah,
Good power, good handling, and a decent price.
right,
But every machine has its downsides.
Right. of course.
What are some of the drawbacks highlighted in this review?
Well, there are a few things to consider.
Okay.
First, the price tag is on the higher end.
Okay.
It's definitely an investment.
Right.
Then there's the weight.
Yeah.
It's not the heaviest ATV out there,
Right.
but it's something to keep in mind, especially if you're a smaller rider or you'll be doing a lot of maneuvering in tight spaces.
So it's not exactly a beginner-friendly machine then?
Not really, no.
Okay.
And the review touches on that. It actually says the Raptor is best suited for experienced riders
Okay.
who can handle its power and size.
Good to know.
Yeah.
So we've got the price and the weight. Anything else potential buyers should be aware of?
Well, that powerful engine does come with a bit of a thirst for fuel.
Ah.
So fuel consumption is another factor to consider,
Right.
especially for those long rides.
Yeah.
And finally, storage space is a bit limited compared to some other models.
Right.
If you're planning on hauling gear, that might be an issue.
All right, so it sounds like there are some trade-offs to consider.
Yeah.
But overall, the Raptor seems like a pretty capable machine.
Oh, for sure.
Now, I know a lot of people have specific questions about this ATV.
Right.
And this review conveniently tackles some of the most common ones.
Perfect.
I think it'd be helpful to go through those,
Yeah.
wouldn't it?
Absolutely. Those frequently asked questions can be super helpful
Yeah,
in clearing up any doubts.
for sure.
Should we start with the one about whether it's suitable for beginners?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay.
What does the review say about beginners taking on this beast?
Well, the review is pretty clear. It says the Raptor 700R is not ideal for beginners.
Yeah.
It's a powerful machine
Right.
that requires a certain level of skill and experience to handle safely.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
It wouldn't be much fun if you couldn't control all that power.
Exactly.
Another question people often have is about the top speed.
Mm-hmm.
We talked about 75 mile per hour,
Right.
but does the review confirm that?
It does. The review lists the top speed as 75 mile per hour,
Okay.
which is pretty darn fast for an ATV.
Yeah.
Of course, safety always comes first.
Right.
So it's important to ride responsibly
Yeah.
and within your limits,
For sure.
no matter how tempting it is to open up the throttle.
Right. Speed is fun, but safety is always more important.
Absolutely.
Now, we mentioned weight earlier as a potential downside. Does the review give an exact weight for the Raptor?
It does. The Raptor 700R weighs in at around 450 pounds. So that's something to be mindful of, especially if you're loading it onto a trailer or if you're riding in tight technical spots where maneuverability is key.
Good point. Okay, one more practical question.
Right.
What about fuel capacity?
Okay.
How far can you go on a tank of gas?
The Raptor has a 3.4-gallon fuel tank.
Okay.
That's a decent size.
Yeah.
And it should be enough for most day trips.
Right.
But if you're planning, an epic all-day adventure or riding in remote areas, it's smart to plan your fuel stops in advance. You don't want to be stranded miles from civilization with an empty tank.
Definitely not.
Yeah.
Okay, last question for the FAQ section. Is this thing street legal?
Okay.
Can you ride it on the road?
Nope. The review is very clear about that.
Okay.
The Yamaha Raptor 700R is designed purely for off-road use.
Right.
It's not street legal in most areas.
Gotcha.
So you'll need to find designated off-road trails
Okay.
or private property to really unleash its potential.
All right, so we've covered a lot of the technical stuff, the pros, the cons, and those FAQs, but I feel like we're missing something.
Okay.
What about the actual experience of riding this thing?
Right.
What makes it so special?
Yeah.
The review touches on this,
Okay.
but I'd love to dig a little deeper.
Sure. That's a great point.
Yeah.
It's one thing to look at the specs,
Yeah.
but it's another thing entirely to feel the wind in your hair and the power of the engine surging beneath you.
Right.
This review does a good job of capturing that feeling.
Okay.
It talks about the Raptor's unique blend of power, agility, and comfort, which all come together to create a truly exhilarating ride.
Okay. Paint me a picture.
Okay.
I'm on this machine engine roaring.
Right.
What am I feeling? What am I seeing?
So picture this. You're tearing through a wide open desert,
Okay.
the sun beating down on you. You crank the throttle, and that 686cc engine comes to life with a roar.
Whoa.
You feel the surge of power as you accelerate. The wind whipping past you,
Okay.
the Raptor responds to your every command, effortlessly carving through turns.
Yeah.
And even when you hit bumps and dips, that advanced suspension keeps you comfortable and in control.
Yeah.
It's not just a ride.
Right.
It's an experience.
Yeah, that sounds incredible.
It is.
And the review also mentions that the Raptor has some pretty aggressive styling.
Yeah, it does.
Is that just for looks, or is there more to it?
It's definitely more than just looks.
Okay.
The Raptor's design is all about performance.
All right.
Those sharp lines, the bold graphics, the muscular stance, it all contributes to the ATV's aerodynamics and stability.
Okay.
Especially at high speeds.
So it's like a sports car.
Kind of.
For the off-road world.
Yeah.
Form meets function.
Yeah.
I like it.
There you go.
This review also talks a lot about the Raptor's durability and build quality.
Right.
Why is that so important for an off-road vehicle?
Well, when you're out there on the trails,
Yeah.
pushing your machine to its limits, you need to know that it can take a beating.
Mm.
Rocks, logs, jumps, rough terrain.
Yeah, for sure.
It all takes a toll on an ATV. That's why durability is so crucial.
Okay.
And the Raptor 700R is built to last.
So what makes it so tough? What are some of the specific features that contribute to its durability?
Well, for starters, the frame is incredibly strong.
Okay.
It's designed to withstand impacts and stress without cracking or breaking.
Gotcha.
Then you've got reinforced components like A-arms and skid plates, which protect the undercarriage from rocks and other obstacles.
Okay.
And those tires we talked about earlier, they're not just about looks. They're designed for extreme off-road conditions.
Yeah.
With thick sidewalls and aggressive tread patterns.
Gotcha.
To prevent punctures and provide excellent grip.
It sounds like they really thought of everything.
They did!
Now let's go back to those potential downsides we discussed earlier.
Okay.
Starting with the price. How big of a deal is that for most people?
Well, there's no denying that the Raptor is a premium ATV.
Right.
And it comes with a premium price tag.
Yeah.
For some riders, that cost might be a deal breaker, especially if they're on a tight budget.
Right.
But for others, the performance, the features, and the durability are worth the investment.
Okay.
It's about weighing your priorities.
Yeah.
And deciding what's most important to you.
Right. Sometimes you have to pay for quality.
Absolutely.
Now, what about the weight?
Okay.
We mentioned that it could be a concern for some riders.
Yeah.
How much does it actually affect the riding experience?
It really depends on your riding style.
Right.
And the terrain you're on.
Right.
The weight can actually be an advantage in some situations.
Okay.
It provides more stability,
Yeah.
especially at high speeds or on loose surfaces.
Gotcha.
But if you're navigating tight trails or technical sections, that extra weight can make the Raptor feel a bit less nimble.
So it's a trade-off.
It is.
Stability versus maneuverability.
Exactly.
Makes sense. What about fuel consumption?
Okay.
Is that a major concern for potential buyers?
It can be, especially if you do a lot of long-distance riding.
Right.
That powerful engine does guzzle gas.
Yeah.
Compared to smaller, less powerful ATVs. But if you're mainly doing day trips or riding in areas where gas stations are readily available, it's probably not a huge issue.
And finally, let's talk about the limited storage space. How much of a problem is that in real-world riding?
It depends on your needs.
Okay.
If you're the kind of rider who packs light and sticks to day trips, the limited storage might not bother you.
Yeah.
But if you're into multi-day adventures or you need to carry a lot of gear, it's definitely something to consider.
Yeah.
You might need to invest in aftermarket storage solutions.
Gotcha.
Like saddlebags or a cargo rack.
So there are definitely some workarounds if storage is a big concern.
Your car, yeah.
But before we move on to our final thoughts on the Yamaha Raptor 700R, I think it's important to talk about something that often gets overlooked in these discussions.
All right.
Safety.
You're absolutely right. Safety should always be the top priority.
Yeah.
No matter what kind of off-road vehicle you're riding.
Right.
ATVs can be dangerous if they're not handled responsibly.
For sure.
Especially a powerful machine like the Raptor.
What are some key safety tips that riders should keep in mind?
First and foremost, always wear proper safety gear.
Okay.
That means a helmet, goggles, gloves, long pants, and over-the-ankle boots.
Gotcha.
Never ride under the influence of alcohol or drugs.
Right.
And make sure you're familiar with the ATV's controls and handling characteristics before you hit the trails.
All great advice.
Yeah.
It's easy to get caught up in the excitement of riding.
Yeah.
But safety should never be an afterthought.
For sure.
Now, before we wrap up our deep dive into the Yamaha Raptor 700R, I want to circle back to something you mentioned earlier.
Right.
Choosing the right ATV based on your individual riding style.
And preferences.
That's such an important point.
Yeah.
There's no one-size-fits-all ATV.
Right.
The best machine for you will depend on your experience level, the type of terrain you'll be riding, your budget, and your personal preferences.
So how can someone figure out which ATV is the right fit for them?
I'd say start by honestly assessing your riding skills and experience level.
Right.
If you're a beginner, starting with a smaller, less powerful ATV is always a good idea.
For sure.
Then consider the type of terrain you'll be riding on most often.
Right.
Tight technical trails. You'll want something nimble.
Okay.
Wide open spaces or sand dunes.
Yeah.
You might prioritize power and speed.
And, of course, budget plays a big role.
Absolutely. Set a realistic budget and stick to it.
Yeah.
There are fantastic ATVs available at every price point.
Right.
So you don't need to break the bank to find a great machine.
And don't forget about personal preferences.
Exactly.
Yeah. Some riders want a sporty, aggressive experience.
Right.
While others prioritize comfort and ease of use.
Sure.
Some value storage and versatility, while others are all about raw performance.
For sure.
Take the time to figure out what's most important to you.
Yeah.
And choose an ATV that aligns with your individual needs and desires.
Those are all fantastic tips.
Thanks.
Choosing an ATV is a big decision.
Yeah, it is.
And it's definitely worth taking the time to do your research and find the perfect match.
Exactly.
But now let's shift gears a bit.
Okay.
And talk about the big picture.
All right.
The allure of off-roading itself.
Ah, yes. The call of the open trail.
Yeah.
There's something incredibly captivating about exploring the great outdoors on an ATV.
Right.
Pushing your limits and challenging yourself in a way that's just not possible on paved roads. It's a chance to escape the everyday grind.
Yeah.
Reconnect with nature.
For sure.
And experience a sense of freedom and adventure.
This is about pushing boundaries.
It
Both your own and your machine's, right?
Yeah.
But it's also about enjoying the journey, the scenery, the camaraderie that often comes with off-roading.
Exactly. It's a unique combination of adrenaline exploration and shared experience. And whether you're a seasoned pro or a complete beginner, there's always something new to discover and new challenges to conquer.
Well said. And speaking of new challenges,
Okay.
let's bring it back to the Yamaha Raptor 700R.
Right?
And what it offers those seeking those thrilling off-road adventures.
This review really emphasizes that the Raptor 700R is more than just a machine.
Okay.
It's a gateway to a world of adventure, a tool for pushing your boundaries and experiencing the pure exhilaration of off-road riding.
Right.
But the question remains, is
Yeah.
it the right tool for you?
That's what we'll explore in our final segment. All right, so we've explored the Raptor's specs, its strengths and weaknesses, and even the allure of off-roading itself.
Absolutely.
But now it's decision time. It is. Is the Yamaha Raptor 700R the right machine for you?
That is the ultimate question.
It is.
And to be honest, there's no easy answer.
Right.
It all comes down to your individual needs and priorities.
Okay.
But I think based on this deep dive,
Yeah.
we can highlight some key takeaways to help you make that decision.
All right, let's break it down.
Okay.
What are the most important things to remember about the Raptor 700R?
First off, this is a high-performance ATV built for experienced riders.
Okay.
It's got power, agility,
Mm.
and it's designed to handle challenging terrain.
Right.
If you're new to off-roading or looking for a more budget-friendly option, this might not be the best fit.
Experience level and budget are definitely big factors.
Yeah.
What else should be on our radar?
Think about the kind of riding you want to do.
Okay.
If you're drawn to wide open spaces, tackling tough trails, or even a bit of friendly competition, the Raptor will excel. But if you prefer more leisurely trail rides or technical maneuvering, other ATVs might be better suited to your needs.
And we can't forget those practical considerations.
You got it right. Those can make or break your experience.
Yeah.
Remember, the Raptor is a bit on the heavier side, and it's not exactly fuel efficient.
Yeah.
Plus, the limited storage could be a deal breaker for some riders.
So it's about finding that sweet spot.
Yeah.
The balance between performance and practicality.
Exactly.
Right.
And ultimately, the best way to know if the Raptor 700R is right for you is to experience it firsthand.
Okay.
Get out there, take it for a test ride, feel that engine roar to life, and see how it handles the terrain you'll be riding.
Nothing beats actually getting behind the handlebar.
For sure.
Now, as we wrap up this deep dive, I want to leave you with one final thought.
All right.
Imagine yourself on the Raptor 700R.
Okay.
The wind in your hair, the engine roaring a trail stretching out before you, just begging to be explored.
It's about more than just the machine itself. Right.
It's about the experiences it enables,
Yeah.
the adventures it unlocks, and that feeling of pure freedom it evokes. The Yamaha Raptor 700R is a powerful tool.
It is.
But it's up to you to decide how you'll use it to create your own off-road legacy.
Well, folks, there you have it.
Yeah.
That's the Yamaha Raptor 700R.
An iconic machine.
In a nutshell.
For sure.
We hope this deep dive has given you all the info you need.
Yeah.
To make an informed decision.
Absolutely.
About whether this beast is the right off-road companion for you.
Until next time, happy riding.
And stay safe out there.